What is up, you guys? Welcome back. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to begin. I had a different video ready to be uploaded today, and I just felt like it would be so disingenuous to jump on camera and be like, hey guys, let's have fun and talk about makeup and live in this fairy tale world and not address the chaos that is going on around me, and the fact that the beauty community is basically up in flames right now. Everything has been popping off. There is so much drama. Everyone is making these videos that's like my truth and, you know, exposing the beauty community and exposing YouTubers and everything else, and I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious. I mean, I feel like in my professional life and also in my personal life, I stay as far away from drama as possible. I do not like to be involved in that in any way, shape, or form. Like literally with my friends, I'm like the mediator. I never want to be involved in drama. I don't like being confrontational. So I wasn't even going to talk about anything and kind of my thoughts on everything that's been going on, but I feel like a lot of the reason why there's so much going on in the beauty community right now and so many people are kind of exposing stuff is because of a lack of transparency between creators and their subscribers on, you know, things like sponsorships and how we work with brands and just so many different things. So there's so much like taboo almost like out there and so much stuff that's not talked about. And I just feel like so much of my videos, you know, they're so just like professional and to the point and about the makeup, and that's how I like to keep my channel, but I also do want to be open and transparent with you guys. So I was gonna like write notes down and stuff and like points that I wanted to bring up in this video, but I decided to just sit down, talk to you guys, just like we're hanging out one-on-one as friends and just have a conversation with you, just be open and honest about everything and kind of all the stuff that I've seen, what my truths are and what my experiences have been in this industry, and kind of what I think about what is all going on, because there's just so much going on around me, and I just felt like making a video talking about it would be the best thing to do. I am gonna be doing my makeup, obviously. I have none on right now. This is gonna be a super simple makeup look. I'm literally just gonna be doing what I do on like a daily basis when I don't have anything really going on. So this video is not gonna be about the makeup. It's really just gonna be to chat with you guys. So yeah, there's not gonna be a big intro like I normally do. We're just gonna go ahead and jump into it and get started. So I'm first gonna go in with the True Match Lumi Glotion. I probably won't tell you guys every single product that I'm using, honestly, because again, this is just more gonna be about us chatting and not about the makeup, but I'm gonna prime my skin with that. Honestly, I feel like there was so much drama going on in the beauty community to begin with, but I think Marlena's video really kind of set off a lot, and that's kind of the first thing that I saw that sparked me in wanting to kind of talk about stuff and, you know, say my opinion on certain things. If you guys don't know who Marlena is, she's the CEO of Makeup Geek. I have nothing but respect for her. She was a YouTuber herself, still is a YouTuber. So she's not only an influencer, but also a business owner. So she does kind of have a unique point of view on everything going on. And she was one of the first influencers, beauty influencers, to go ahead and start her own brand, which is now a huge mass brand. I'm sure you guys know Makeup Geek. They're sold in Target now, which is awesome. So, you know, she certainly is an inspiring woman, and I have nothing but respect for her. She made a video regarding her truth with the beauty community and her experience with influencers, and she basically said in the video that last year was a really bad year for Makeup Geek as her brand, and that was because they didn't work a lot with influencers because they couldn't afford to pay them $60,000 per video. This shocked a lot of people and caught so many people off guard, as rightfully so. That's a huge number and it's crazy. And she didn't really do a good enough job of explaining when she threw out that number that that is a number of a top tier influencer, and that number is not even anywhere close to an average number for like an average influencer, or like the average amount an influencer would ask. For a super top tier influencer, somebody that has multiple millions of subscribers, that's absolutely a realistic number, I'm sure. I wouldn't know myself personally. I certainly don't make $60,000 or anywhere near that per sponsored video, so it's crazy to me to even think that that is what some people are making. But I tried to think about it myself, and like, you know, if you just do kind of the math. So let's say an influencer that has, we'll use 4 million subscribers as like a baseline. That's a huge influencer. You know, 4 million is a big number. Now, if they promote a product on their channel and 1% of their audience buys that product, that's 40,000 people, okay? That's crazy. So let's say this product that they're promoting costs, I don't know, an average price of a product at Sephora is like maybe $20. That's $800,000 of sales revenue if you sell a $20 product 40,000 times. So a brand paying the influencer $60,000 is less than 10% of the amount of sales revenue that they would be bringing into their company. So I think a lot of times that's where that number comes from. And yes, of course, it's shocking. It's huge. That's crazy that people charge that. I mean, that's a lot of money, but that's where the number comes from. And I don't really see, you know, for somebody that has the following that can command those sort of numbers, you know, if they can bring in those sort of sales to a brand, more power to them. You know what I mean? Like, it's a huge number, and it's certainly not what I would charge for a sponsored video. But yeah, you know, I do definitely think that's a realistic number. I do know that there are YouTubers that, again, these are top tier influencers that have more, you know, well over 1 million subscribers, millions upon millions, that charge over $150,000 per sponsored post. Very, very crazy. But that's kind of what is the reality. But it's because they're bringing in so much sales and so much revenue to these big companies. You know what I mean? So if you're just giving them, even with affiliate codes, 10%, but they're bringing in $1 million of sales, you know, that's $100,000, which I guess, you know, some of these really huge influencers are doing for these brands. So I feel like Marlena should have done a better job of just explaining that, like, that $60,000 is not at all average for like any old influencer. It's really like only the top tier. So I guess herself and Makeup Geek were only focused on working with top tier influencers, and because they could not afford to work with top tier influencers, it caused them to have a bad year with, you know, the brand or whatever, because people weren't talking about it. To me, that wasn't the biggest thing that shocked me from her video. To me, the biggest thing that shocked me about her video was that apparently whichever influencer it was that quoted them the $60,000, and she did not say their name, I have no idea who it was, told them that they just weren't going to talk about their product then if they couldn't afford to pay them that amount of money, which that to me is insanely crazy. That's when I was like, oh my God, you know, that's where the entitlement really begins. I don't think asking for that certain amount of money, even though it is crazy, you know, if you can bring that return on that investment, you can bring in those sales to that brand, good for you. But saying that you won't talk about a product just because that brand cannot afford to pay you an amount of money, I think is crazy, because you know what? This is supposed to be about the makeup. This is supposed to be about the passion, money second. I totally understand. Everyone needs to make a living. People have to pay their bills. Of course, I think YouTubers should make money for what they do. Like, I earn a living off this. This is my full-time living. But the passion for beauty and the passion for makeup has to be there first. There are so many products that I talk about on my channel all the time that I have never been paid one dime to promote. And I would never say, hey, I'm not gonna promote your products anymore if you're not gonna pay me. Because there's no amount of money that's gonna change my opinion on whether or not I like a product or whether or not I'm gonna use it on my channel. Like, for example, the Born This Way foundation from Too Faced, my favorite foundation. Literally everybody knows that. I talk about it all the time. It is my favorite. It's my holy grail. I have never been paid one dime to use that foundation, to talk about that foundation or anything. Never been paid, never done a campaign for that foundation. Another product I use all the time, the Wet n Wild Reserve Your Cabana finishing powder. I use it to set my under eyes. All the time I talk about that. I have never ever been paid by Wet n Wild to do any review on their products. Like, I review their products all the time. Always their new collections I review. I've never been paid for that. But I like their products and they excite me, and I love that setting powder. So of course I'm gonna say that I love that setting powder because it's great. And if they wanna pay me, great, but they don't. But I'm still gonna say that I love it because it's a great product. And that, to me, from the video was kind of my biggest thing, where I was like, oh my God, like, this is where the kind of entitlement and the money hungriness has gotten to people's heads, which is really upsetting because that's not what this is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about the beauty. It's supposed to be about, you know, genuinely recommending things to your subscribers that you love. Sorry, you guys, I was getting all worked up, and then of course my camera died. But yeah, that to me was my biggest takeaway from that video, is I was just shocked that somebody would say that and say that if you couldn't afford to pay them, that they would no longer talk about their products. Okay, so moving on, the next thing that I wanted to talk about that I saw is there was this tweet that went viral on Twitter, of course. Tweet on Twitter, that basically, you know, it said again the same thing about rates. It was from somebody who said that they had worked for a company who consulted on, you know, potentially working with a top tier influencer and their rates for certain things, and the rates were, you know, high. I think it said $25,000 for a mention or something like that, which for a top tier influencer is probably correct. But what really shocked me, and I think shocked everybody else as well, is that one of the rates was that you could pay that influencer, said influencer, whoever they are, $85,000, whoa, to make a negative review of a competitive product. Okay. When I saw that, I was like, wait, what? I have to be honest with you guys with this one. This really, really caught me off guard. Influencers talk, you guys. I know a lot of people in this industry. I go to a lot of events. I've been on brand trips. I've talked to a lot of influencers. I consider them, a lot of them, my friends, and I have never, ever, ever heard about this ever. And influencers talk about this all the time, but I have never, ever, ever heard of an influencer being paid to make a negative review of a competitive product, or ever even heard of like a company asking for that. It's not to say that that doesn't happen, or that somebody didn't say that they would do that for $85,000. I really hope that they didn't. I really hope that that's fabricated. I don't know why somebody would fabricate that, but that to me is crazy. I've never heard of it. I don't think that that's a thing, at least with the vast majority of influencers. That really was like the one that caught me off guard. I was like, okay, $25,000 for a mention. All right. But the $85,000 for the negative review, I was like, wait, what? And I mean, even if you think about it logically, and maybe this is just me, like maybe people have different opinions on this, but like if I was a brand owner, to me, I would much rather pay somebody to do a positive review on my product than a negative review on a competitive product, because just because somebody does a negative review on a competitive product doesn't mean they're gonna go out and buy mine. So to me, it almost doesn't even really make sense. It's like, why would I pay somebody more to do a negative review when I could just have them do a positive review on my product, which would probably do better off with sales? That's just the way I logically think about it. So I really hope that that's not a thing. But if it is a thing, like I do want you guys to know that I really don't think it's prevalent at all. Like something that is prevalent is YouTubers not disclosing their sponsorships. That's a problem. And that's something that I see all the time, you know? Like I work on campaigns, you know, do the post on Instagram, whatever it is, I put hashtag ad, and then I see other people in the same campaign doing the same ad as me, but not putting hashtag ad. And I'm like, I know you were paid for that. You know, and that I hate, because it's like there's nothing wrong with influencers making money. This is our job. We put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this. So there's nothing wrong with doing sponsored content, but you need to disclose it legally. And like that's something that's very prevalent and it is a problem in the influencer community. But honest to God, I do not think paying for negative reviews, oh, my hair is going crazy. Paying for negative reviews is like a very common, like prevalent thing in the influencer community. I've just never, ever in a million years heard that, until I saw this tweet that was going crazy and everyone was freaking out about it, and rightfully so. All right, now the next thing that I want to jump in on, and this is not gonna take that long to really talk about, but it's PR, because I see these sorts of comments all the time. You guys know I do PR unboxings on my channel, and I do them because you guys request them like more than any other video. You guys really, really like them, and I personally love viewing them as well with other people, because it kind of gives you the ability to see a lot of new stuff maybe slightly before it launches, and like check it out and see all the new releases and kind of see, okay, well, what is it that I really care about? Do I wanna get anything? So I kind of really like watching them. But a lot of times I'll see comments from people who will be like, oh my God, YouTubers are only gonna say good things so they can stay on the PR list. And now I want my next statement to come off, I don't think there's any way that I can say it without coming off as like bratty or like whatever. I want you guys to understand. I think it may be a little bit different with smaller influencers, but with influencers, you know, my size or bigger influencers, anybody, and honestly most probably smaller influencers as well are gonna fall into this category, and I'd hope anybody making content online would prioritize their subscribers over companies and free makeup. I get a lot of PR, you guys have seen that in my unboxings. So honestly, if I'm taken off a PR list from a company because I am telling you guys that I don't like their product, then so be it. Like I literally am not gonna lose sleep over it. I have enough makeup. You guys can see the makeup behind me, and I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, look at all this stuff that I have. Like, I'm just trying to explain to you guys that like, I would never prioritize the trust that you guys have in me over free makeup. Like, I don't need the free makeup. I can go out and buy the free makeup myself. Like, I don't need it. That would never, ever, I would never be like, oh my God, I wonder if I'm gonna get kicked off the PR list. Like, I'm pretty sure there's multiple PR lists that I have been kicked off of because they send me their products and I don't talk about them. And honestly, a lot of times I try and keep it really, really positive on my channel. And I like to talk about products that I love versus products that I hate. So a lot of times if I try tons of products that never make it to my channel because I don't like them. So if there's a product that's making it to my channel, it's because I like it. Or if I'm doing a first impressions and I don't like a product, I'll let you guys know. Like just in my last first impressions, I tried like the First Aid Beauty, I think it was like Bendy Avocado Concealer. I didn't like that and I told you guys I didn't like that. And if they take me off the PR list for that, then so be it. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, I love this concealer when it's terrible. So yeah, that is just not, at least in my case, and I would honestly venture to say most YouTubers' case, they don't worry about like getting kicked off a PR list by saying that they don't like a product. When I was a smaller influencer and I was first starting and I was only on like 1 or 2 PR lists and I was spending so much money on makeup, going out and buying every new release, maybe it would have mattered a little bit more to me getting off PR lists. Like I would have been upset over it. But now it's like if I was kicked off PR lists, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like I'm always gonna keep it honest and 100 with you guys. And yeah, that's just really not the case. Like free makeup really doesn't mean that much to me. I'm really just not that interested in it. This is coming off. This color looks so weird. What is going on? Doesn't it look like green on my eyebrow? I literally love this brow pencil, but today, what is going on there? But yeah. And again, I really don't want that to come off as entitled, like, oh, well, I have my own money so I can buy the makeup. Like, that's not how I want it to come off, but I really do want you guys to know that literally free makeup really doesn't mean much to me. Like, I have a lot of makeup. I would be fine if I was kicked off PR lists. That's kind of that. I also see a lot people saying, oh my God, like if these brands didn't spend this extravagant amount on PR and these brand trips, then the price of the products would be so much cheaper for the consumer. I really don't think that's true. Brand trips have always happened. Always. They just used to be with magazine editors, so nobody knew about it because, you know, social media wasn't as big and these people didn't follow these random like magazine editors on Instagram and stuff to see that they're out, you know, on a trip with a brand. Now it's just been so much more brought to life that brands do these lavish brand trips and do these fun things with influencers because we're posting about it on social media. So in that aspect, we've shed more light on kind of marketing and how brands market their products and how they allocate their marketing budgets, you know, because you guys see a little bit more of that aspect through influencers. So yeah, that sort of stuff has just always happened. It just hasn't been necessarily like public knowledge. So I genuinely don't think that that would change the price of products. And because it's not like there's this new, you know, revenue that brands have to come up with to be able to market with influencers. Like they're literally just changing the way that they allocate their marketing budgets. And I'm probably maybe getting a little bit too businessy on you guys. But again, you know, I went to school for a lot of this stuff. So, you know, the way brands market their products is different now. So they have a marketing budget and, you know, lots of mass brands have humongous marketing budgets, of course, because the brands are worth billions of dollars. So traditionally, you know, they would put ads on TV, like in TV commercials, they would put ads on billboards. They would put ads in magazines, but a lot of that is shifting now more towards the digital space and digital marketing and doing ads on social media and working with influencers. And that's where those dollars are going and less, you know, on commercials and billboards and in magazines and stuff like that. Like I feel like on TV, you know, we see some of the mass brands doing commercials. Like I know I see CoverGirl commercials, I see Maybelline commercials, Revlon every now and then, but like you're never gonna see like a Too Faced commercial on TV. You're not gonna see like, you know, Tarte or like one of those kind of companies. You really only see like mass drugstore brands that are still running like TV commercials. So their marketing budgets are being allocated differently. You know, they're spending their ad dollars elsewhere. It just goes back to like, I don't think the price of their products would change. It would just be, they would be allocating those marketing dollars elsewhere to something else, to run an ad somewhere else. You know, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. And I hope that I don't get hate for that. Like I'm just trying to explain to you guys, my thoughts on that because I see that comment a lot and I totally understand it. Like I totally understand. I see some of these trips too and I'm just like, oh my goodness. It's crazy. And again, like this, it's nothing that's new. It's gone on forever. It's just kind of coming to light now more because influencers are sharing their experiences on these trips versus back in the day when it just wasn't as shared. And I do want you guys to know as well, of course I'm an influencer, so of course my opinion is gonna come very much from an influencer's point of view, but at the same time, I'm still a consumer. I still buy makeup all the time. So from that perspective, I'm like both, you know? Letting my lash glue dry over here. But another thing that I wanted to say too about you know, marketing and brands and kind of how they use their ad dollars and stuff with influencers is that traditionally in the past, brands also used to do, you know, collaborations and stuff all the time and have paid spokespeople, but it's because like they were regular celebrities, like mainstream celebrities, so to speak, which I'm sure are a lot more expensive to work with than influencers are, which might be part of the reason as to why a lot of beauty brands have began to work heavily with influencers versus those mainstream celebrities because they can pay influencers less. If you know, walk into Sephora today, you'll probably see more influencer stuff, you know, influencers' faces and influencers' collabs on products in Sephora than regular mainstream celebrities. But like 10 years ago, you would have never seen any influencer, or even 5 years ago, really, you wouldn't have seen many influencers at all. It would have been much more geared towards those mainstream celebrities who I'm sure they had to pay tons and tons, like millions of dollars to work with. And now they've kind of started to work with influencers instead, or in addition to, you know, to complement like how the work that they do with celebrities. So I think a lot of what's happened like with bigger YouTubers, and honestly not even just with bigger YouTubers, with any YouTuber, like there are smaller YouTubers too who I've met who I'm just like, oh my Lord, they are really, really entitled. Like, you know, they need everything from brand. And like, that's where a lot of this problems have kind of come about, I think, is people are just so entitled. And I think part of it too is that some of the bigger celebrities, and even again, it's not even just big celebrities, like smaller celebrities, I mean influencers. I'm using the wrong terms now, I'm getting so fired up about this, but even smaller influencers, you know, have management staffs as well, and certainly most bigger influencers have managers. And I think a lot of that kind of adds a little bit of fuel to the fire when you're adding these other people now that are like part of your business, that are representing you, and they're a lot of times the ones that are dealing with the brands directly. Like I had a manager for about a month-ish, and I was like, this doesn't work for me. I'm so sorry. Like she was really nice, but it just didn't work for me. Sometimes management can kind of push you to ask for these higher price points because they make money based on what you make. That's typically, if you guys don't know, like when influencers work with managers and stuff, typically the manager gets a percentage of the, you know, whatever the influencer makes on a deal. So like, let's say an influencer gets $5,000 for a deal or whatever, then the manager, if they make 10%, and I think standard is between like 10 and 20%, somewhere in between there. So if they make 10%, they get 500. If they make 20%, they get 1,000. So they're always going to be pushing for higher numbers and for you to ask for more money from brands as well, because they make money based off of that. And a lot of times they're the ones negotiating those actual numbers with the company, not the influencer themselves. So I think a lot of times that can be part of the problem too, is you have this whole team around you that's kind of like bargaining on your behalf. It's really weird. It wasn't for me. I know most influencers have managers. It just wasn't my thing, but I think that kind of can be part of the problem as well. So it's just, I don't know, it's been crazy. I feel like I'm going off on a tangent now, but yeah, I feel like a lot of influencers just have this sense of entitlement, and that is kind of where a lot of this negative energy has, you know, started to come from, and a lot of like money hungriness and stuff like that. And trust me, I have no problem with influencers doing sponsorships, with influencers making money, like more power to them. Of course, I have no problem with that, but it's just like, it needs to be done in the right way. And I think recently I don't know, it just kind of seems like it hasn't been. And yeah, and I just, you know, this community is catty for sure. And there are people that just try and piggyback off of other people to, you know, get more followers and get more clout, so to speak. And, you know, that in turn will get them more money. It's definitely something that I've seen in people not be so genuine in their intentions, which is really upsetting, especially if you are being genuine and then you realize that somebody isn't being genuine, you know, back to you. And for the most part with people, because I've met a lot of influencers, I met a lot of really, really big influencers, and then, you know, smaller influencers as well, you know, at events and brand trips and stuff. And for the most part, I've had really, really good experiences with the influencers that I've met, but I've certainly had like not so great experiences as well. Where I've felt like I was treated differently based on my following. Whether it was that I didn't have nearly as many subscribers as the person that I was talking to, so they weren't interested in talking to me, or also vice versa, where I've spoken to people who were kind of not mean, but like standoffish to me, like didn't really care about talking to me at first, and then realized that, you know, maybe I have 400-something thousand subscribers or something, and they had a lot less, and they were like, oh, and then like instantly so interested in what I had to say, where before they were just kind of like scanning the room, seeing who else they could talk to. You know, I've had both ends of the spectrum happen to me, and I have felt like, you know, the amount of subscribers I have, sometimes people don't care about talking to me or being nice to me or getting to know me because, you know, I can't help them because they have a lot more subscribers than I do. So like, you know, why would they talk to me? Because I can't serve them, you know, I can't help them at all. But then I've had good experiences too. And honestly, I'm not gonna name names because I don't want to get into any of that. Like I said, I don't like to get involved in any drama, but I have met a lot of influencers. Oh, I have this like fuzzy on my lash there. Let me get this off. I've met a lot of influencers, and honestly, some of the influencers that I see that are always involved in the drama, people are always talking about, and a lot of times negatively, I've had really good experiences with. Where then there's other influencers, some of the ones that I've had not so great experiences with, who have kind of made me feel a little like beneath them, so to speak, are like never involved in the drama, and people don't talk bad about them, but they're kind of the ones that have made, that kind of surprised me. Like I was so excited to meet them and then I was kind of let down. Like that has happened to me too. So sometimes what you see on the camera isn't necessarily what you're gonna get in person, and I have been let down before because of that. But then I've also met people where like you see so much negativity about them online, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about them, like before I meet them, and then I meet them and they're like literally so nice, and I feel so bad for ever being like, oh, I don't know about them. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, oh dang, like they're a really, really nice person. So it kind of comes both ends of the spectrum. But for the most part, I've had really great experiences, and I've never had like a really, really bad experience where somebody's like, ew, I don't want to talk to you or anything like that. But yeah, this is gonna be the only video that I'm gonna make about this. This is the only time I'm gonna talk about this because I like to be so positive, and I really just hope that I got my point across, again, because I didn't write like notes or anything. I feel like a lot of the time I was blabbling, and I hope that I like made sense to you guys and what I was trying to say. I just really want you guys to know I love this community so much, and I think that we're certainly going through a change and a phase now. And there is so much negativity going on, but there are so many amazing, amazing creators that make amazing content that are so genuinely invested in the beauty and the love for makeup and stuff, and that totally still exists. You just have to find like the right creator and you know, the right people that you want to watch and stuff like that. I want to be open and honest with you guys, and I want to talk you know, about more things, because again, I feel like a lot of this stuff with like sponsorships is just because it's not widely talked about, so people don't know you know, the ins and outs of it, and I want to be able to talk more about it to you guys. I can't, of course, like because of contracts, there's so many things that you can't say legally, and I certainly don't want to be sued or anything like that, and I think that's a big part of the reason why YouTubers don't talk about it all that often, is because of contracts and, you know, stuff like that. Non-disclosure agreements, you know, where you literally cannot say anything or you'll be sued. Those are all very commonplace in most industries, and certainly in this industry as well. But there are so many amazing YouTubers out there, and so many people that aren't just money hungry, that love makeup, love beauty, love social media, and are lucky enough to make a living off of it. And I hope that you guys are able to see that through the camera. And yeah, I mean, I love you guys so much, and it's been nice actually to just like sit down and talk to you guys about this, because so many people in my personal life, like they don't really follow YouTube or like, you know, tons of this stuff, so they like have no idea what's going on. They're just like, oh, like did MAC come out with new products? So it's cool to just sit down and kind of vent and talk to you guys about my opinions on everything that has been happening. And I definitely want to do more sit down chit chatty, get ready with me videos, because it's been a while. And maybe I can do one about our wedding, because our wedding is coming up. Oh my goodness. I'm like kind of majorly stressed about it because there's so many things going on, but I would love to do maybe another chit chat where we could talk about that and just, you know, kind of kick back, relax. Like this is literally the most boring makeup look in the world, but again, not about the makeup, just me kind of chatting as if I'm just doing my makeup, hanging with a friend. This is the look that I do all the time though, like on the regular. When I'm being super lazy, my tan is peeling. I'm just so cute today. But yeah, I love you guys so much. I am so grateful for this community and for this platform that and that you guys like give me 5 seconds out of your day to even watch my videos or click on them or care about what I have to say. And yeah, that is it. We are done. Basic makeup look 101, but it's fine. Thank you guys so much for watching and just kicking back and hanging out with me. I love you guys so much. My next video, we will be back to normal. We will be positive and we will be upbeat and excited and talking about new makeup. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye.